Hi all, welcome back to the channel. One of the things I collect are Pokemon booster boxes. But as we're at the end of the Scarlet and Violet generation now and just about to move into the Mega Evolution, I was looking through my boxes and seeing which ones I've picked up and what the current values are. And as I enjoy editing videos together, I thought I would make a video having a go at showing the current values of booster boxes and the half booster boxes here in the UK and over in the US too, and put them on screen for anybody else who's wondering what they might be worth or what their collection might be worth, starting at, where are we, Scarlet and Violet base set, going all the way through to Destined Rivals. So we'll start with base set. I'll put up on screen the values in the US, the UK, etc., and just see the value of them currently. Right then, I've added some of my favourite Sword and Shield sets to the background because maybe in the future I'll do the same thing with the Sword and Shield sets. But as we're at the end of Scarlet and Violet, I'm going to start with that one. So starting with the booster boxes, and I'll put the price up on screen. But as you can see in the US, this one is going for $250. And over here in the UK, it's going for £187. But I also collect the half booster boxes too, as they're readily available in the UK. And as a half booster box, Scarlet and Violet base set is going for £73. Now for some context, the booster boxes, for all of them I paid around £90 to £100, and then the half booster boxes were picked up for mostly around the £50–55 mark. Not as true as you get to the later sets, but true at least for the beginning of the era. Right then, moving on to Paldea Evolved. Amazingly, the booster box is already going for $458 over in the US, and over here in the UK it's up at £315, which for a relatively new set is quite wild. And the half booster boxes here in the UK are going for around about £101, which isn't bad for a set that costs around £55. So sticking with the order that the sets were released, next up was Obsidian Flames, and that booster box over in the US is going for $322, and here in the UK is at £286. And then the half booster box is doing very well, up at £109, which is very solid. And so the next set out was Paradox Rift. Now that's going over in the US for $300, and here in the UK it's at £182, with the half booster box not doing as well as the earlier ones, but it is going at around about £85. So then we move on to Temporal Forces, which over in the US is up at $247, and here in the UK was last sold for £198. And then the half booster boxes, again similar to Paradox Rift, are going for around about the £85 mark. And then we move on to Twilight Masquerade, which over in the US is up at around $303, and here in the UK was last sold for £281, with the half booster box doing slightly better, up at around the £95 mark. And then moving on to Stellar Crown, in the US that's up at $248, and not far behind at all here in the UK it's at £234, with the half booster boxes not actually doing quite as well, up at £84. And at that point, here in the UK, boxes took a huge jump. So from Surging Sparks onwards, I don't yet have the main booster box. I'll pick it up in time, but don't yet. So with Surging Sparks, I ended up picking up a load of the half booster boxes because they were more readily available and more evenly priced here in the UK. But I'll put up on screen. The booster box is going for $255 in the US, and quite remarkably here in the UK is even higher at £271, with these half booster boxes going at £135, which for a set that I think these ones cost me around $65 is pretty good. And then a bit similar with Journey Together, the booster boxes were really hard to get hold of here in the UK. So again, I bought half booster boxes for around about the £55 mark. But just to show, over in the US, the booster box is going for $246 and is down now in the UK at £187. So I'll probably pick up that soon to add to the collection. But the half booster boxes here are going for around about the £95 mark. But from then on is where it went completely crazy. And so for Destined Rivals, all I have is one half booster box, which in itself was quite hard to get. And I think I picked that up for around about £60. But the booster box over in the US is already, for the newest set, which is Wild, up at $362 and is selling in the UK at £291, with this half booster box already going at £125. Which, just to finish up, for anyone who's thinking about collecting Pokemon, just the booster boxes that I've managed to collect cost around £665. If I was to sell them today, would be worth about $1,613, which as investments go is pretty good. Not that I see them as an investment, because I collect them and don't ever really sell them. And that similarly the half booster boxes, one of each cost around £550 and is currently going for £987. But that was just a little video to show anyone who's wondering about what the values of their booster boxes might be, or thinking of buying them to collect them, what they're currently selling for. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon, maybe going through doing a similar thing with the Sword and Shield ones. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.